So I honestly absolutely loved The Portable Door. I feel like it really brings something new to the packed magic and fantasy genre, and it's really fun, really, really engaging, and also really thought-provoking. There are so many themes contained within this film that really does make you think about a lot of things after you finish watching it, and is based on a brilliant 7-part book series from Tom Holt, so instantly has a lot of comparisons to Harry Potter, and I mean, God, what a brilliant franchise to be compared to. The Wizarding World is just absolutely incredible, and I feel like The Portable Door has the potential to just grow into a really exciting and really beloved franchise too, and I just love how it's quintessentially British and also has a really unassuming lead character that is super endearing, and you really are behind them and you really do feel for all of the different things that this guy goes through, and is just so pure of heart at his core. And then you have all of the magical and fantastical aspects surrounding this film. So honestly, I do feel like it has the recipe and ingredients to be absolutely stratospheric. So let's talk a bit more about the main lead character, Paul Carpenter, brilliantly played by Patrick Gibson, who has recently joined the second season of Shadow and Bone on Netflix. So I really feel like his star power is only going to grow over the next couple of years, and hopefully he does stay with this franchise, as like I said, he is such a great lead character in this film, and he's so likable and really, really relatable, as of course a lot of people do want to do the right thing. And I think he's subtly really hilarious as well. I mean, certain characters are in your face funny, and I feel like a lot of mannerisms that Patrick is exhibiting through the Paul character is actually really, really funny. And I really love characters that are the true underdog and that are really squashed by a lot of other people, and then when they kind of rise from the ashes just like a phoenix, is just such a rewarding and such a brilliant moment. And I really do feel like Paul does exhibit that, especially as he does go through a lot of dark things in this film, and he's pretty much in every single scene in this movie, so there's a lot of pressure on this actor, but I do feel like he carries it really, really well. And I also love how there is a lot of character growth and trajectory across this film, and by the end of it, he does actually grow a lot in confidence. So like I said, a lot of people can relate to him, and I'm just really excited to see where his journey is going to go in future installments. But of course, it's not just Patrick Gibson's movie, as there are a lot of other star power-led actors in this film that have such high pedigree, and I love the fact that they've got such brilliant names in this film. For example, Miranda, Otto from the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina series, Sam Neill from Jurassic Park, we've got Christoph, Waltz, we've got so many wicked actors just adding so much charisma and star power to this film. And just the concept of horrible bosses, I think a lot of people can relate to, especially if you have experience in internship, then you really do know there are certain brands and certain people in particular really do treat interns badly. I mean, this isn't of course everyone, as of course there are certain people and brands that do treat interns really, really well, but that stereotype is not lost in this film, as they are really picked on in terms of Paul and Sophie by a number of horrible bosses in this film. And even though they definitely could have done a little bit more with them, I do love how every single horrible boss is really individual as a particular character, and as a result work really, really well as an ensemble. But the other thing that a lot of people can relate to from the corporate sector is of course the hierarchy. So even within the horrible boss's space, there is definitely the one at the top that feels like they are at the top and looks down at everybody else in the way in which this character then treats everybody else. I feel like there is so many different levels, especially from a business corporation perspective, that a lot of people can relate to. And another thing that people can relate to is the concept of coincidences, and I feel like a lot of people just brush this off, and I love the fact that this film kind of tries to address it in terms of, you know, there are underground people and creatures that are actually controlling all of it, and actually it's all really planned. And I mean, if you want to go really deep with this particular concept, then it can get a little bit philosophical in terms of, you know, do you have your free will, or actually things being planned for you? So, you know, I feel like the concept of coincidences is explored really well here. Even though it wasn't a massive part of this movie, I couldn't really get behind the romance between Paul and Sophie. I really like their friendship, and I love the fact that they were working together as colleagues when they were trapped in that room, but I never really felt the chemistry from a romantic perspective between these two different characters. And if anything, it kind of felt forced in terms of this relationship between these two different characters. And it reminded me actually when Jenna Ortega was talking about the Wednesday character, that, you know, there's so much more to the character, to the world, to all of the mysterious stuff than having a forced romance. And I felt like it was really true here too, as you're not really rooting for them as a couple. But like I said, from a friendship perspective, I really did like this pair. And another thing that I feel like makes Paul a really great lead character is that you can tell that he he has actually had a bit of a tough life, and a lot of people have probably pushed him down and made him feel like he's got really low confidence. But I feel like one of the things that I love is that he's got unrealized gifts and powers that actually a lot of people are actually seeking. So in some respects, he is actually highly sought after and is actually really, really valuable. And I feel like if you broaden this out to a societal perspective, that, people do actually have a lot of value inside of them. Even if they have been pushed down and squashed down by society, then they should always remember that they have got a superpower within themselves. And I just love the fact that Paul as a character really embodies and represents this so perfectly. And when he does actually realize this, then actually it does get to his head a little bit, and he gets a little bit cocky, and then is becoming a little bit selfish in terms of keeping the portable door for himself and not really wanting to disclose this, which, like I said, you can actually agree with and understand and see where he's coming from. But I just love the fact that he just grows so much as this movie progresses. And even though I wouldn't call this movie a dark fantasy, I do feel like it has got dark, sinister, fantastical elements in there. And if they would like to, I feel like in future installments, they can really go down the horror route, which I do feel like Harry Potter definitely did do in its final few installments. And I feel like the portable door similarly has the potential to just become really dark if it would want to. And this really did come to life during the interview sequence where all of the adult characters could instantly see that, Paul Carpenter has got exactly the gift that they are exactly looking for, and he doesn't even realize it. So I just thought that was an absolutely brilliant moment. And at that point, you don't really know why all of these guys are really after Paul, but then when it does transpire, he has actually got the ability that nobody else really has, then it really does show how valuable Paul is as a character. And contrastingly, this does raise another societal issue, which is, people just use other people and only see them for transactional value and what can they take and use this person for instead of actually valuing them as people. Going back to the corporation side of things, I think it's really interesting how in every single organization, you do know that, there are sinister things taking place behind the scenes. And I love the fact that, this is interwoven into the plot in this film. I mean, of course, it's exaggerated for magical and comedic purposes, but nonetheless, dark things definitely do take place behind every corner. And I really do like how this film definitely does put a big lens against it. And so much abuse of power, especially by people at the top of an organization. And I just thought it was a really interesting way in the final act of this movie how everything really did come full circle, and you quite literally got to see the dark side of certain characters. It was such a gripping and powerful ending, especially after what takes place with Paul and with Sophie. And I just love the fact that the portable door is such a magical device that can literally take you anywhere that you would just dream of. Very similar to Jumper with Hayden Christensen, which I do still think is one of the most underrated movies. How, the Jumper ability allows him to teleport himself anywhere that he wants to, which the portable door can also do. I do feel like they could have pushed it a little bit more in terms of just going to all these magical countries. I know that they do that, but if anything, I would have loved to have seen even more of that. Maybe in the eventual sequel, the second installment, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh, and maybe even beyond that, we will see even more stuff taking place with the portable door. And hopefully, everybody will just fall in love with these characters, fall in love with this world, and we'll just get to grow the portable Wilde universe. Especially, there are very few films nowadays that are true 4-quadrant films, and I do feel like this one, can be enjoyed by the entire family, as there are definitely certain jokes that are aimed at adults that are a lot more sophisticated, as well as having, the slapstick humor for kids there too. So, it is a really brilliant all ages film. And I love the fact that all of the adult characters in particular, have all of their individual magical powers, and the way in which they use them, like I said, can be hilarious and intriguing for people of all ages. So, overall, I absolutely love The Portable Door. I think it's such a fun film. And even though it's got a relatively modest runtime, I feel like it actually packs in so much. And I love the fact that, the lead character is so endearing. He's easily able to carry this movie. And I just feel like it has such an exciting potential future, which hopefully we'll get to see one day. But as far as the first Portable Door movie is concerned, I really, really loved it. And I'm going to give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. Now I'd love to hear what you thought of this film, so please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.